We are crossing into Ontario, Canada with our motorhome for the first time. We're heading to Niagara Falls. There's a lot to do there, but for our 6-day visit, we narrowed it down to 6 must-do things that have to do with the waters, meaning the falls and river. Stick with us and see how we experience Niagara Falls in Canada. We're entering into Canada over the Peace Bridge near Buffalo, New York. This is our first time we've ever taken the motorhome into Canada. We ask people and research what we can take and cannot take into Canada. Our Canadian full-time RVing friends, Irene and Dan, cross the border every year with their motorhome, and they suggested best bet is check the Government of Canada website. There's a link in the descriptions below. So we used up all our fresh fruit and vegetables, dairy products before traveling here, and after answering a few questions, we crossed into Canada within 8 minutes. We stayed at the Niagara Falls KOA Holiday, which is pretty nice, and less than 20-minute drive to the falls. So we finally made it to Niagara Falls. It is Thursday, September 5th. It's a Thursday after Labor Day, so it's off season. And it's still busy, but I can imagine what it's like once you have all the families, all the kids. It's pretty much mainly adults that we're seeing right now. So we chose to drive from the KOA down to the Niagara Falls and go into the parking lot back here. It was $35 for the whole day. We could do the WeGo bus, but I think we're going to do a lot of stuff that's just in this area. It's all going to be in walking distance, so we didn't feel we needed to spend the extra money on the WeGo. But if you're going to be up and down this right along the river here, some of these places are stretched out, so you probably do want to get that pass.
So we know virtually nothing about what we're visiting here other than this. In this one area where we spent $35 parking, if we would have taken the WeGo, it would have been $13 each, $26. We would have been way over that way, and then we wouldn't be where our clothes are in case we get drenched or whatever we're going to do. For us, it seems that the best thing to do is to park here, pay the big money, have all the stuff that you need. If you want to save money, you could even pack a lunch and you could eat here. Really nice, civilized area here. And just in this vista of what I'm looking at here, there is so much to do and see. You could spend an easy 3 hours here and not spend a dime other than the parking if you wanted. Just fill your eyeballs up. Let's get going, honey.
Yeah, let's do it. We're going to head over to the Table Rock Center. It's a welcome center. And the view is supposed to be amazing on the riverside. Plus, we can get a lot of information. Like Mark said, we don't know what we're doing.
We forgot to tell folks that we're going to be renewing our vows.
Okay, we're going to renew our vows. So we don't know what we're doing. We are winging it on the main things to see. So if you have any suggestions, leave your comments. Let us know what you think when you were last here. Like I said, this is the Thursday after Labor Day. It's off season, so to speak. I can't even imagine what it would be like if we were here during high season.
I know I promised you that later in the day I was going to get in the barrel and go over just to have, good views on YouTube. But I'm kind of rethinking it.
Good plan, Mark. We were told by many that the Canadian side of the falls was the side we want to be on, and we agree. We could spend hours here looking from many different views and not even spend a penny. Here you can see the Maid of the Mist boat tour on the left. That's the U.S. boat. And then on the right, with the red ponchos, is the Hornblower cruise from the Canadian side. This boat looks pretty full, but we've seen it packed. Usually the time of the year and the time of the day seems to depend on how full it will be. This was recorded just before noon on the Thursday after Labor Day. All right, we're going to hit the Welcome Center first and journey behind the falls. I think we're going to get a little wet. We figure we'll just get real wet on the boat cruise, so we're going to do this first. first thing we did was descend 120 feet to 130-year-old tunnels through the bedrock, which leads out to upper and lower observation decks with a view right alongside the falls. Tie it up.
Oh, they tie up? Go tie it up for you, Kate?
There you go. Okay.
There we go.
Leave room to see.
Aren't you glad you married me?
Leave it to the women to figure it out for today.
Yeah.
Apparently, the lower level is when you really get wet. At this point, we went back into the tunnel, and along the way you'll see plenty of information on the making of these tunnels. We're going to take a left to get to the tunnel directly behind the falls, where there are viewing portals that have been cut straight through the bedrock. And there is a line, but the idea of just being behind the power of the falls and to get to peek through a portal was something we felt worth it. Just to feel that power.
$20 if you run right out there.
And there is another portal that we walked over to, but with the lighting and all, it really didn't show well. You really got to be there. Right, we just finished our journey behind the falls. Now we've got to look at Next, we took a short 16-minute walk over to the Hornblower Niagara City Cruise, which will take us right up to the falls. Getting it? All right. Hornblower Niagara City Cruises provides Canada's only Niagara Falls boat tour experience. This is a 20-minute cruise and it gets us really close as possible to Niagara Falls. Here you can see the observation tower on the US side, which looks really awesome. But the viewing areas on the US look sparse, and you can't really see much of the larger Horseshoe Falls from there. Now compare that to the Canadian side, where viewing goes all along the river and up close to the falls. Niagara Falls is actually a group of 3 waterfalls. So first we go past the 2 smaller American Falls and Bridal Veil Falls, which are actually within the United States. And then down farther, the largest of the 3 is Horseshoe Falls, which straddles the international border of the 2 countries, and it's also known as the Canadian Falls. So I thought 20 minutes was too short. This was plenty long. We just got off the boat cruise. Holy smokes, what an experience. It was like a rainstorm, truly. Definitely want to do it.
Well, what was funny is we thought that we had heard a tip that the U.S. boat was all packed with people and the Canadian one was a lot less. I'm telling you, it was the exact opposite today. The Canadian ones were just packed with people. But we didn't get near as wet as we were led to believe. Sue had sandals on, so obviously her feet and everything got wet. I had regular tennis shoes on, and they don't feel wet. Maybe they are.
You just don't know.
You don't need to carry swimming shoes like we did, you know. But I hope nobody notices what idiots of tourists we are. But you know, it is what it is.
It was a great experience. If you're in Niagara Falls, do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
So it's about 3:20 today on Thursday, I don't know what day, September 5th. And so we're off season here in Niagara, but back in May of 2017, I did the best thing I ever did. I got married to Sue.
Oh my.
And I started dating her
It was a good day.
back in 2008. So There was a test period
a
going
good
on
day.
there for a while.
So what are you saying? This is our honeymoon?
Well, this is our second or third. Well, we're
Still
on
our honeymoon, yeah.
Yeah, and we're going out to eat at the tower in the background, up in the top. And I'm going to empty out my wallet and have a ham sandwich. So let's get going.
Ain't cheap. Let's do it. Admission to Ride to the Top and indoor-outdoor observation decks are free when you dine here. So we had our reservations at 4:30 for the early dinner special.
This is what I wanted. Wow, look at that. Wow.
The Revolving Restaurant is 775 feet above the falls, and at first I didn't want to do this, just too expensive. But here's a pro tip. Get in line early so you're seated at the window table. This experience was worth every penny. I mean, look at the view. Plus, the service and food was outstanding. This was so good I almost forgot to record it. Chicken cordon bleu and salmon with a view. And after an hour and a half of dining, we went to the observation decks. This too was great, but after our dining experience and view, it just wasn't the same. And then on our way back to our car, we had a rainbow. What a great way to end this day. So a new day. We actually were going to do the Whirlpool Aero Car, but they're predicting rain and even thunderstorms. So we thought this is a good day. We're going to go check out the Niagara Parks Power Station.
Yeah, I figured it was a good bet that they wouldn't want you to suspend it on a metal cable during a thunderstorm.
No.
But I got to tell you that, we paid another $35 to park in the super convenient parking here. But
And Mark is super excited. Our friend Tim, who's also an engineer, said you could spend a whole day there. So we got here in the morning and we'll see how long we last.
Well, Tim doesn't know how I get hungry after 3 or 4 hours.
That's true. We'll take a break at some point. All right, let's go. All right, away. He's got to stop and study. Sticking his head in places it doesn't belong.
So I just wanted to tell you, when we go into this power station, because I was a mechanical engineer, you're going to learn a lot of things that you wouldn't learn at many other channels. And in electricity, one of the most important things is an explosion-proof fixtures, because you could have a lot of problems. For instance, you'll notice right off the bat, the metros over there look like they're explosion-proof design because they're all sealed. Well, if this place doesn't have the wow factor when you walk right in, wow. So we opted to take the to get the general admission. They do have a guided tour it's like $10 more, but for our self-guided, we get one of these so we can hear information at all the different stations. I assume we're going to be here longer than the average Joe, so we decided to do the self-tour so we can take our time and pace ourselves. So I guess in a nutshell, when the dam and the breakwater and the valves and everything that let that water finally in here, and it travels all the way down and it spins this turbine, and this is the wastewater. This spinning is translated back up on the floor that we're standing on, so that when you have to bring equipment in, you have to work on it, whatever, it's just right outside the door, meaning the equipment to fix it right outside the door. You bring a truck in, you can work on this stuff, because everything breaks like an RV. So this equipment up above here, this mechanism here to make these metal rods plunge up and down, they actually provide. And Mark was in his element, observing and describing everything he saw. But that would take too much time to show here, so you just need to check this place out for yourself. Really, it was pretty cool. That was one activate. Pretty cool. We've got some interactive hands-on here.
The hands-on was really interesting and pretty cool, but the Tesla coil, that's really something. The power of electricity.
Like I said, you could tell you're married to the right person when they're playing with a Tesla coil and sticking their hand inside a Faraday cage. You know, one thing about the OGym channel, you learn to believe in science.
All right, we are ready to do the tunnel. So we're waiting in line to go down into the tunnel, and from what we were told, this elevator is glass, so we'll be able to see what's all in there, not just the elevator.
45 feet tall, it connects the turbines to the generator from the main floor.
So if I was a movie producer, I would use this place as a prop coming to my bat cave and going out to town to work on RVs.
This 2,200-foot-long tunnel opened in the summer of 2022, and it used to push out the power station's spent waters back into the Niagara River. Look at the size of this. One of the nice things is that they have the audio tour continuing. You can see Mark just tapped one of it. So all the way down, we're actually getting more information about the tunnel and the whole construction. It's pretty cool. So this is kind of cool as we go along. It actually gives you an idea where you are and how close you are to the opening here. This is where we are now. All right, 2,100 feet to the tunnel portal.
We're finally at the portal.
So even though I have a raincoat on, I'm going to put a poncho on too. You never know. This is nice. They have a rack over there that we can actually just pick one up.
Yeah. Adult and youth size.
Yeah. It is chilly down here, so this will add to the warmth.
We have a poncho on and a raincoat. So let's go.
Belts and suspenders.
First thing I'm looking at is the door. And it looks like it's made out of some type of a non-corrosive aluminum. That might have been added after the fact, just to close it down at night when they're not open. I'm pretty sure it looks too new. So I'm going to narrate it.
Oh boy.
That's not the boat that we were on.
No.
That's the U.S. boat, right?
Yep.
Okay, we were on the Canadian one.
They had blue, we had red.
But that shows you as close as we can get without jumping off the boat ourselves when we were on there and shooting backwards.
Wow.
On how close they get and the effort that the boat people put in to be able to give you the whole experience of what it's like to be there. Now, if you want something better than this, I've heard that the only way to do it is to get yourself a barrel and go over it yourself.
No thanks.
Did we luck out on the perfect wind direction and temperature we have?
Yeah, we're getting no spray. I thought for sure
Yeah.
we'd end up soaked. So that pretty much wraps up the power station. What'd you think?
It was fantastic. This is an absolute stop, even if you're not a retired mechanical engineer, if you're even remotely interested in science and the grandeur that man can build. We've spent here about, I don't know, how many hours do you think?
It's about 3:30 now. We got here a little before 11. So yeah, we spent a lot of time here.
Yeah.
Definitely put this on your list when you're in Niagara Falls on the Canada side.
And like everything in Niagara, if you can come here in the off season, you're going to be doing yourself a favor, because even we're here, September 6th today?
Right.
There's a lot of people here, but it's very manageable.
Right, it really is. And the weather is nice. It was 80 the last 2 days. It's like about 70 this day. It's comfortable. So
right. So if you have kids and you don't want to bring them, but they need to be taken care of, take them to grandma's. No?
So today we're going to explore Niagara in a little different way. We've been hitting the falls a lot, and today we're going to experience the river. So we're going to go over the Whirlpool Aero Car, and then we're going to take a walk down. I think it's called White Rapids Walk or something like that.
Yeah, Whitewater Walk, I think.
Okay, so this is where we're heading today. Let's go over the gorge.
Let's go.
The Whirlpool Aero Car goes over a section of the Niagara River, referred to as the Niagara Whirlpool, and it soars 3,500 feet across the Niagara Gorge. There's just one car that carries 35 standing passengers over the swirling whirlpool and the river's Class 6 rapids. So we're at the halfway point and we're walking around so we get to go on the other side to view what's happening. And once again, we had a really good guide that gave us a lot of information and answered a lot of questions. The Niagara Whirlpool is formed at the end of the rapids where the gorge abruptly turns counterclockwise, as you can see. And because of this abrupt change of direction, it creates the mesmerizing swirls. Once we got to the other side of the gorge, we didn't get off or anything. We simply headed back to where we came from.
Luckily, we've been open since 1916 and never had to use it once.
So we're told this has been going since 1916 and never had a problem where they had to be rescued. Those are good odds. The car travels between 2 points on the Canadian shore, but it will actually go across the international border between Canada and the United States a total of 4 times due to the way the river elbows. Nice thing is, no passport required.
So our OGEM pro tip when visiting this area, you might want to take this into consideration. In a second, the WeGo bus is going to be driving by me, picking up these people here and dropping off people that are coming to visit this. We did not choose to use the WeGo system because we had the car and we would always bring our lunch along and everything, so to us it was worth paying the big money for the parking. But that'll wear you out after a while. Now the beauty of this place, if you come here and you park here, the parking is free. And we're going to walk about 0.7 miles over to the Whitewater Boardwalk, experience that. It's a 1/4 mile walk on the boardwalk, and then we're going to walk the 0.7 back, and we're going to have our lunch here. So this is a really good stop for that type of stuff. So we're at the Aero Car Whirlpool ride across the gorge, and that's the OGEM pro tip for this morning.
So even with our walk, every now and then you got to stop because you get an opening like this to get a good idea of what's going on down there. Once we got to the Whitewater Walk, you can read a lot about its history starting in 1876 with a wooden incline rail that took you down 230 feet to the water's edge. And then in 1935, an elevator was built, just 1 year after a fire destroyed the rail. You go inside and purchase your ticket and then take that elevator to a 240-foot tunnel. The Niagara River's rapids are one of the world's wildest stretches of whitewater, reaching an extremely dangerous Class 6 classification. That's the world's highest.
Now you know why I don't want a kayak, honey.
This is a great example of the power of Mother Nature. Gotta love her, gotta respect her. This 1/4 mile boardwalk runs along the shoreline of the Niagara River and gets you up close to a breathtaking experience that can appear to be deceptively calm at times. This is a self-guided experience, and along the way you'll read all kinds of information about the gorge and the river and even more. So this is kind of cool. They actually have, boy, it looks like new stairs too. They actually have a platform where you can actually go down and even get closer. It's not quite like being on the boat cruise because you're definitely not getting sprayed, but man, you are close to power. Oh, looks like another platform over there too. Cool. This area looks like you get right by the water. So there have been a few things on our visit here at Niagara Falls that you might think, oh boy, I just paid $20 to walk this boardwalk along the Niagara River. But it's not just walking along the river, it's the experience. And being there and feeling the thunder and the power of Mother Nature, kind of like when we were in the behind the falls. It's the experience. It might not be the thrill of jumping out of a plane or anything like that, but you're having that experience.
When you're hesitant, maybe, oh, should I do something like this? You got to think about, you know, I'm 72 years old. Am I 72 or 70? 72 years old. When am I coming back? We went through all of the effort to come across the border. We got to see this when we got to see this. Because you know what? In 72 years, I've never seen rapids like this, and I'll probably never see them again. The last time we came close to seeing something this cool was when we were in the Gila National Forest in the state of New Mexico. And Gila is spelled G-I-L-A. We did a episode on that. We'll link that up in the corner. That was an equally cool boardwalk to experience.
Back through the tunnel and up the elevator. And that wraps up our visit in Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. We pretty much experienced as much of the waters as we could with our 6-day stay. And now we're heading back into the US and hope you enjoyed this video. We ask that you subscribe and hit the notification if you haven't already. We appreciate your support. So until we get to meet you on the road, in a campground, or an RV repair place, we invite you to join us most Sunday mornings for another episode of Our Journey in Miles. Thanks for watching. So this is nice. We actually have somebody directing us into what lane to go.